Most people live as if time owes them something, as if the future is a promise etched in stone. But time is a cruel master, and its ledger is always balanced. Every moment you hesitate, every second you waste waiting for the right time, is another drop of sand slipping through the hourglass. It's not a question of patience, it's a question of courage. Because the right time isn't coming. It never was. People cling to excuses like life rafts in a storm, convincing themselves they're just waiting for the perfect wave. But perfection is a lie, a trap laid by fear to keep you paralyzed. You tell yourself you're planning, preparing, but really you're hiding. Afraid to leap because the fall might hurt. Afraid to act because failure might leave a scar. But scars tell a story, don't they? And what's the alternative? To live a life so safe, so forgettable, that not even time bothers to remember you were here. The moment is here. The moment has always been here, clawing at your chest, begging you to take it. But instead, you feed it with distractions. You drown it in meaningless rituals, in scrolling screens and whispered doubts. You chain yourself to routines, pretending stability will save you from the inevitable. But stability is a slow death. It's the lie we tell ourselves to avoid the terror of stepping into the unknown. And while you wait, life laughs. Because life doesn't wait. It moves forward, with or without you. Hesitation is a silent thief. It steals your minutes, your hours, your days, one breath at a time. And the worst part? You don't even notice. Not until it's too late. Not until you look back and see the hollow trail of could-have-beens and should-have-dones. The world doesn't mourn the hesitant. It forgets them. It remembers the ones who acted, who risked, who burned their fear like kindling to light the path ahead. And the rest? The rest are just shadows, echoes of a life that might have been. There's a darkness in waiting, in the way it seduces you into thinking you're in control. But control is a fantasy. You're not steering the ship. You're watching it drift. Every plan you make, every goal you set, it's nothing but whispers in the wind if you don't move. The future isn't some shining beacon on the horizon. It's a black void, indifferent and unforgiving. And if you don't step into it, it will swallow you whole, leaving nothing behind but regret. The world rewards action, not intention. It doesn't care about your dreams, your hopes, your endless list of reasons why today isn't the day. It cares about what you do, about the steps you take, the risks you're willing to embrace. And those who act, even in the face of failure, carve their names into the bones of the universe. Those who wait, they fade. Waiting doesn't build legacies. Action does. Even flawed, messy, chaotic action. People talk about second chances as if life owes them. But every breath is your second chance, your third, your thousandth. It's not the universe's responsibility to make you act. It's yours. The clock is ticking, and the world is moving on, indifferent to your hesitation. And yet, you hesitate. Why? Because the leap is terrifying? Because the unknown feels like a monster waiting to devour you? Maybe it is. But monsters are better than stagnation. At least monsters mean you're alive. If not now, when? When the stars align? When the fear subsides? When someone gives you permission? The stars don't care about you. Fear never truly leaves. And no one is coming to save you. It's always now. Now is all there ever was. All there ever will be. You can act, or you can wait. But every second you spend waiting is a second lost. A second that could have been used to change something, to create something, to be something more. Waiting is the enemy of the extraordinary. It is the refuge of the weak, the playground of the lost. But those who understand the urgency of now, those are the ones who bend the world to their will. They take the risks, make the moves, and let the chips fall where they may. Because they know that failure isn't the enemy. Regret is. And regret, my friend, is far darker, far heavier than any failure could ever be. The sad part, most people will never act. They will wait until the end, hoping for the perfect moment that never comes. And when it's too late, when the sands have run out, they'll realize the bitter irony. The past is a graveyard. It's where memories lie, wrapped in layers of regret, nostalgia, and the lies you tell yourself about how things used to be. People walk through life, clutching ghosts, convinced they can resurrect what's already gone. They build monuments to their failures, their victories, their moments of joy, and then wonder why they can't move forward. The past is seductive, isn't it? It whispers promises of what could have been, makes you think it's worth clinging to, but it's nothing but smoke. Try to grab it, and you'll find your hands are empty. The future is no better. It's a mirage, a trick played by your own mind. You think it's out there waiting for you, shining like a prize just out of reach. But the future isn't real. It's an idea, a fantasy you've constructed to distract yourself from the weight of the present. You pin your hopes on it, plan your life around it, but the future is a thief. It steals your focus, your energy, your will to act. All those promises it makes, tomorrow, next week, next year, they're just empty words. The future has never existed, and it never will. The present, though, that's where everything happens. It's raw, it's unpolished, it's brutal. The present doesn't care about your plans, your past, your fears. It just is. And yet, people treat it like an inconvenience, something to be endured while they mourn the past or chase the future. They fail to see the power it holds, the way it demands their attention, their action. The present is the only thing that's real, the only thing that ever mattered. But to face it means giving up the illusions, and most aren't ready for that. Past and future are prisons, cages built by your own mind to keep you safe from the terrifying freedom of now. The past chains you with memories, with emotions that feel like anchors. The future lures you with promises, with dreams that keep you running in circles. Both are illusions, constructs your mind clings to because the present is too raw, too real. But the present is where life happens. It's where choices are made, where action takes shape, where the world bends to your will or crushes you if you hesitate. People spend their lives running from what's behind them, running toward what's ahead, never stopping long enough to stand still in the moment. But the present is a force, a storm that sweeps away everything else. It doesn't care about what you've lost or what you hope to gain. It demands your attention, your presence, your willingness to face it without flinching. It's not patient. It won't wait for you to gather your courage. The present is here, now, and it's relentless. To live in the present is to step into the void, to let go of the stories you've told yourself about who you are and who you're going to be. It's to face the chaos of reality without the safety net of nostalgia or fantasy. The past is a comfort. The future is a dream. The present is a blade, sharp and unforgiving. But it's the only thing that cuts through the illusions, the only thing that matters. And yet, people spend their lives avoiding it, trapped in worlds that don't exist. The present is freedom, but freedom terrifies most people. It asks for too much. It asks for action, for responsibility, for the kind of honesty that strips away all pretense. To live in the present is to abandon the games, the masks, the lies you've built to protect yourself. It's raw, unfiltered, and uncomfortable. But it's also the only place where you can do anything, change anything, become anything. The past is dead. The future is a dream. The present is alive, and it's waiting for you to notice. Every choice you've ever made, every moment that shaped you, happened in the present. The past didn't make you. The future won't save you. It's always been about the now, about the decisions you make in the heat of the moment. People fear the present because it's where failure happens. But it's also where success lives, where triumph is born. It's where you take risks, make moves, and leave your mark on the world. And the ones who understand this, they are the ones who truly live. The world is a machine, perfectly engineered to keep you trapped in loops. It feeds you memories, not as a kindness, but as chains. Memories of triumph, of pain, of moments when everything seemed possible, or when it all fell apart. They replay endlessly, haunting you with whispers of what could have been, or what should have been. Each time you indulge them, you become a prisoner of your past, tethered to moments that no longer exist. The world doesn't need to hold you back. It makes you hold yourself. It's no accident. The system thrives on your nostalgia, on your inability to move forward. Look around. Everything is designed to remind you of what once was. Photos, songs, old letters, even the way certain smells bring you to your knees. It's all perfectly orchestrated to make sure you keep looking backward. Why? Because a mind stuck in memory is a mind that doesn't act. And a person who doesn't act is easier to control. The world doesn't fear the dreamer. It fears the doer. Even your mind conspires against you. It clings to memories, replaying them until they feel more real than the present. The bad ones eat at your soul, while the good ones taunt you with their impossibility. Memory loops are seductive. They offer the illusion of time travel, of revisiting a simpler, better, or more meaningful moment. But it's a lie. Memories are shadows, imprints of light that's already gone. The more you chase them, the further you stray from what's real. The loop is addictive. Every time you replay a memory, it feels like control, like you're holding on to something solid. But the loop isn't a sanctuary. It's a cage. It keeps you reliving old pain, old joy, old mistakes, all while the present slips through your fingers. You think you're reflecting, but you're just spiraling, tightening the chains around your mind. And while you're stuck in your loop, the world keeps moving, indifferent to your stagnation. Memory is the perfect trap because it's personal. No one has to convince you to stay stuck. You do it willingly. The world just plants the seeds, and you water them with your longing. It keeps you tethered to the past, because as long as you're looking back, you're not moving forward. The loop whispers to you, promises to give you clarity, closure, meaning, but it gives you nothing. It takes your focus, your energy, your will to act. It takes, and it takes, and it takes. Breaking free from the loop isn't easy. It demands that you abandon the comfort of familiarity, that you stop clinging to the fragments of what was. It means stepping into the now, where nothing is certain, where every decision feels like a gamble. The loop tells you the past is safer, that the future is too risky. But safety is a lie, and the loop is a slow death. To escape it, you must choose the chaos of the present over the illusion of the past. The world doesn't want you to escape. It's invested in keeping you stuck. The loop is profitable. It keeps you consuming, yearning, searching for what you've already lost. People who live in memory loops are predictable, pliable, easy to manipulate. But those who break free, they are wild cards, forces of nature that no system can control. They stop living for the past and start creating the present. They are dangerous because they are alive. To leave the loop is to face the terrifying reality that the past is gone, that what matters is what you do right now. It's not an easy truth to swallow. It means letting go of old wounds, old victories, old dreams, and stepping into the uncertainty of now. But in that uncertainty lies power, the power to act, to change, to become something more. The loop is comfort, but comfort has never created anything extraordinary. The past always feels larger than life, doesn't it? A canvas painted with emotions we never fully understood in the moment. Yet now, it hangs in our minds like a masterpiece. Not because it was perfect, but because it's untouchable. The past becomes beautiful, not for what it was, but for what it could have been. The edges blur, the details soften, and we craft a story around it. Pain becomes poetic, joy becomes exaggerated, and the mundane takes on a glow it never had when we were living it. The past isn't beautiful, it's manipulated. Emotions in the present are jagged, raw, incomplete. They sting, they burn, they leave us confused and hollow. We don't know how to feel because the weight of now is overwhelming. But give it time, and the present will transform. It always does. What feels chaotic today will morph into something poetic tomorrow. Not because it's real, but because distance is a lens that distorts everything. Time romanticizes the pain, softens the wounds, and wraps it all in a veil of nostalgia. It's a cruel trick, really, the way the past seduces you after it's gone. The present will never have that allure, because it's too close, too visceral. You can't step back and admire it like a painting. It's not finished yet. It's messy, unresolved, filled with the kind of emotions that make you want to run. But while the past is beautiful, it's also a lie. The present is the only place where life actually happens. Yet we resist it, preferring the illusion of beauty to the discomfort of reality. The past is a ghost, haunting us with what we think we felt, while the present demands we feel everything at once. This is why people cling to the past. It feels safer. It's already happened, already played out. It doesn't surprise you, doesn't challenge you. You've had time to polish it, to remove the ugly parts, to turn it into a story that suits your needs. But the present is unforgiving. It forces you to confront yourself, to face the unedited version of life. And most people can't handle that. They retreat into memory, where the stakes are lower, where everything feels more manageable, more beautiful. But that beauty is hollow. It's a museum display, untouchable and frozen. You can admire it, but you can't live in it. And every time you turn to it, you lose a little more of the present. The moments that could be real, that could be powerful, are wasted while you're busy reminiscing. It's an addiction, this constant need to revisit what's already gone. But the cost is steep. The past takes your energy, your focus, your potential, and gives you nothing in return. Nothing but the illusion of emotions you never fully felt. People like to think they can learn from the past, but what they're really doing is escaping the present. They wrap themselves in old emotions, reliving the highs and lows, because it's easier than creating something new. The past becomes a drug, a safe place to hide from the uncertainty of now. But it's a prison, one you willingly walk into every time you choose memory over action. The walls are comforting, but they're still walls. And while you're locked inside, the present slips away, unclaimed and unlived. Emotions are never complete in the present, because the present doesn't give you time to process. It's relentless, dragging you forward whether you're ready or not. But that's its power. The present doesn't need to be beautiful. It just needs to be real. The past, with all its carefully crafted emotions, is an illusion. The present, with all its chaos and incompleteness, is the only thing that matters. Yet people resist it, preferring the safety of what's already gone to the risk of what could be. The beauty of the past is a trap, a way to keep you from facing the reality of now. It's easier to admire what's gone than to build something new. But the present doesn't care about your nostalgia. It demands action, not reflection. It asks you to step into the unknown, to risk failure, to feel incomplete emotions without the comfort of distance. And that's terrifying. But it's also where life happens. The past is beautiful because it's over. The present is ugly because it's alive. Memory is a weapon, a tool forged in the fires of your mistakes. It exists not to keep you trapped in the past, but to arm you against what's coming. The past is a cruel teacher, but it's relentless. And if you survive its lessons, it leaves you with something invaluable. A map. Not a map of where you've been, but of the dangers ahead. It whispers warnings, sharpens your instincts, shows you where the traps are hidden. But like any weapon, memory can cut both ways. Wield it wisely, or let it turn on you. Too many people misuse it, don't they? They clutch their memories like relics of pain and regret, polishing them until they shine with the false glow of nostalgia or bitterness. They don't learn, they wallow. But memory isn't a prison. It's not meant to hold you in place. Its purpose is to prepare you for what's next, to ensure you don't walk blindly into the same jaws that snapped at you before. Memory is the ghost that says, "I've seen this before," and if you're smart, you listen. The villains of this world are the ones who ignore their memories, who charge forward as if the past never happened. They repeat their mistakes, dragging others into their spiral of destruction. But worse still are those who overindulge, who drown in what was so consumed by the pain of their memories that they become paralyzed. They think remembering the past is enough to justify their inaction. It isn't. Memory doesn't absolve you. It equips you. Use it to move forward, or it will become the chain that drags you down. The beauty of memory is its cold efficiency. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't soothe you with promises of what could have been. It shows you the raw mechanics of your failures, strips them down to their bones and says, "Here, this is what you did. Fix it." There's no comfort in memory, no kindness. It is brutal, because life is brutal. But in that brutality lies its value. Memory doesn't coddle, it prepares. The question is whether you're strong enough to face what it reveals. Memory is the past's message to the future, but people often twist it, soften it, or ignore it altogether. They cherry-pick the lessons, clinging to what's easy and discarding the hard truths. That's why so many walk the same paths, stumble over the same obstacles, fall into the same traps. They don't learn because they don't want to. The lessons are there, scrawled in blood and tears across the timeline of their lives. But reading them takes courage, and courage is rare. Memory is not your friend, and it's not your enemy. It's a mirror. It reflects what happened. No more, no less. If you look into it and see nothing but pain, that's because you're refusing to see the lesson. Pain is the price of knowledge, the toll you pay for understanding. Memory extracts that toll mercilessly. The wise pay it gladly, knowing it's a small price for survival. The foolish refuse, closing their eyes to the mirror, and the same tragedies greet them time and again. The world thrives on those who ignore their memories. It capitalizes on those who never learn, who stumble into the same mistakes as if they've never been burned before. Memory is a rebellion against that cycle. It's the refusal to be caught unaware, to be a pawn in someone else's game. It says, "I've been here before. I know how this ends. Not this time." Memory doesn't guarantee victory, but it gives you a fighting chance. And in a world designed to crush you, that's everything.